Hi, Cliff again, talking something to do with Grizzly walnut rootstock. In this case, this is an interesting trial because this is a about 5-year-old Livermore orchard on VX21. And it was really interesting to try varieties other than Chandler. And of course, the mother tree of Grizzly was discovered in a Tulare orchard where the Tulare on that certain seedling rootstock was 3 times larger than everything else in this really problematical kind of a disaster orchard. So we had a good sense that Tulare did great on Grizzly, and we have a lot of Chandlers on Grizzly. I just posted another video about how good Wolfskill is looking on Grizzly. So while Livermore is the least pertinent thing in the world, maybe it was a good chance to try it again. This is another one of these replant orchards. In this case, what I'm going to show you on the quad here as I drive around is both ends of the orchard is just beautiful soil, and the middle there's a sand streak, an old river channel goes through. So we're actually going to go from where you see the least difference, although you will see Grizzly is marginally larger and probably healthier looking, to the sand where as we drive down the row, the Grizzly is just, remarkably bigger, double maybe. And then as we get towards the front and the soil's more the Grizzly is much larger. So we have several reps in here, 5 or 6, I can't remember. I'm going to show you 3 so it just doesn't go on forever. And a couple of them are very similar, so there's no point in showing them on a video. One really interesting note here. Grower is a believer in no prune, has had a lot of luck with Chandlers, Howards, Tulares, all kinds of stuff going no prune. But Livermore is a whole different beast, and found that Livermore really had a lot of problems with breakage in the first, third year, 4th year, and then the 5th year again. It was much worse on the VX21 trees. I think that comes from the stress tolerance of Grizzly. Trees tend to break when you get the wind event combined with the tree is not so happy, maybe because it's a big north wind on a really hot day. So we saw virtually no breakage in the 30 or 40 Grizzly tree. Livermore and Grizzly trees are out here, and almost every tree on VX21 had some kind. So I'll pan to a couple. Very easy to see here as I drive. I'll try not to talk because of the engine of the quad. But Grizzly we mark with an orange band. That's kind of our color. And you'll see back here in this excellent, beautiful dirt. It's hard to see. I can tell you that if you measure the trees, yeah, the Grizzly trees are bigger. But it's not as clear to the eye. So let's do a little drive around, then I'll probably stop and talk again. Again, Livermore on VX21, except for the orange bands. You'll see over there, one of these broken trees happened again this year. So then we get into the row of Grizzly here. Again, the consistency we love that we see with Grizzly. Nice trees, loaded with Livermores, unfortunately not worth a lot of money. And then the trees clearly get smaller here, these VX21 trees. These next 2. And so, hope that was instructive. So I'm going to zoom over to the sand. Geez, I hope this orange paint usually shows up great, but let's see what I can find here. I think I've gone too far. That one broke off way low. Saw a lot of that out here with the Livermore on VX21. Aha. Okay. So we're coming into this sand. Maybe it's better from the other side. There's this tree that broke, yet another Livermore. But yeah, we just come into this sand streak, and the trees you can see from me driving around. A lot, you know, the whole deal is much smaller. Here's what we see on VX21. And then I'm going to stop, and you can almost just, if I pan up, and I'll try to come back. Hard to show this stuff on a video, but anyways, there are the Livermores on Grizzly in this sand streak, and then back to VX21, much smaller and more inconsistent. I'm going to flip around. Broken. Here I think you can really see the 5 Livermores on Grizzly are to the left. And you can just see the consistency and the tree size. And some small VX21 here. Another tree that barely grew and also broke. Yeah, this breakage on VX21 was really interesting, and I think we have enough trees on Grizzly out here. We would have definitely seen something. We would have saw one of them break. There's definitely a difference. Let me hop off here. Just kind of, it's so hard to show this stuff on a video, but the trees on Grizzly are just much taller, fuller. So anyways. But that's why we measure and we put data sheets online. Some people like the visual, some people like the data, and the combination of both is nice. Okay, now I'm going to scoot over to the last rep I want to show you here in this Livermore orchard. And I would call this upcoming soil pretty darn good. Grew great trees before this was taken out, fallowed. Actually, the grower leased this ground to strawberry nurseryman, which means for about 4 years in a row it got tarped methyl bromide. So it was out of walnuts for 6 or 7 years, I think. Hit with methyl bromide and tarped several times, so about as close as you can get back to virgin. So I think any rootstock would have done okay, except in this sand streak where you can just see how small these trees are. And now we're leaving the sand streak again. And let's see. Yep. So I'm going to do the same thing, just going to drive down the row slowly. And let you look at the size of the trees, both for top growth and bottom growth. Another tree that broke. So we're getting down here, and all these are the original trees, so you can look at the size of that tree, the size of that, and then Grizzly is significantly larger. I'm hoping it shows up on the video. Loaded with nuts. Then back to VX21. These couple trees are okay, and then trees get very small. So I'm going to flip around so you can also do the row to row comparison. Five Grizzly, Livermore's on Grizzly to the left, Livermore on VX21 to the right. So, and I have a lot of pictures of this going back. So anyways, again, the consistency. I mean, that tree versus that tree. So you can see how much taller, how much fuller. So, performing well here. The VX21 doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look nearly as good. And again, none of this crazy breakage. And here it's kind of interesting. Again, I always talk about the consistency we see with Grizzly is, so these 5 trees, Livermores are great. This one, this Livermore on VX21, it's not quite as big as those, but it's okay. but then you just get this inconsistency. And then this tree just didn't want to do something. And a lot of you that put a lot of stock in VX21 out of the gate, say 10 years ago, we all thought it might be the answer to replant, have seen this. And then we got another tree that's okay. And then, yeah, it broke, but why did it break? And then this one's pretty small, and then we get it. So, yeah, it's, and that consistency in your orchard, the lack of is what costs you, and the consistent sizing of the trees helps everything. Not only more nuts, but every time you can standardize anything by having consistency, it's important. Okay, that ended up being a 10-minute video. Sorry about that, but I wanted to show it. Okay, thanks.